Hello and welcome into the latest edition of ESPN FC. Kay Murray, Shaka Hislop, Stevie Nicol here in the studio. In just a little while, we'll also be hearing from Jan Fiortov, and we'll be continuing the conversation of something we were discussing on yesterday's show. That is that Liverpool are interested in Alexander Isak, and they have made their interest known. An approach has been made. It is said that the Premier League champions have always been interested in the player, but Newcastle have zero interest in selling their striker. So let's welcome in Jan Fiortov to talk more about this. But I want to start with you, Stevie. What's your take on the issue?
Yes, please.
No thanks.
I actually thought, the first time I saw it, I thought, yeah, this is a wind-up. This is an AI or somebody's just being mentioned.
This is an AI.
There's so many things these days.
I don't know why that was so funny, honestly.
There's no way.
You have no idea how funny that was. Carry on.
There's not, anyway.
It's not an AI. I can assure you that.
Which is fantastic. I'm sorry. I didn't think Liverpool would go and spend 120 mil on Wirtz or anybody else. And they've done it. And now they're going to, apparently, spend another 120 on Isak. I mean, that's incredible. I mean, clearly they've been saving their money. I said to Dan, I sent Dan a text yesterday. I said, have Liverpool robbed a bank? Because this is like unbelievable. So, absolutely, yes, please, and twice on Sunday.
Says Stevie, not Shaka. From the Newcastle angle, that's not the view.
I am nowhere as excited by this news as by an AI or not, as Stevie quite clearly is. Listen, Alexander Isak has been at the centre of all things good for Newcastle over the last couple of seasons. As a matter of fact, when Newcastle struggled, it also coincided with when Alexander Isak was injured. And then, while there are some questions about his fitness, I thought last season he put all those to bed, was absolutely outstanding yet again. But just about 12 months, maybe 13 months ago, Newcastle were trying to make things work with this profit and sustainability, which I do not understand. Certainly from the perspective of a Newcastle having to juggle things as they did last season, and then roll the clock forward 12 months, you have Liverpool spending or ready to spend this kind of money twice in the same window. That being said, 120 million is a lot to turn away if you still have some of those issues that you need to deal with. And then it all comes down to who's the replacement, because those are huge shoes to fill, and how much it costs, because, again, the only reason Newcastle lets go of Alexander Isak is for financial, for profit and sustainability. So then again, the cost becomes a factor.
What do you think of this? What do you make of it all, Jan? Alexander Isak to Liverpool.
Well, first of all, for Steve Nicol, who's been a generation in football, think that artificial intelligence can do rumours in football and links to football. That is impressive. I think that Liverpool has shown over the couple of last 3 years that they've had a plan with what they're doing. There was a period where they had Klopp's friend there doing the recruitment. Didn't work out very well for them. Now they're very, very professional. Florian Wirtz was the best available. They went for him. They need a number 9. They will like to get their number 9 out, and and there's not better one around. I mean, Shaka did the analysis seen from Newcastle point of view. This won't be a matter of money. I mean, if it's 120, 130, 110, who cares? I mean, his stats, his numbers are the ones who matter. That matter for Liverpool, that matter for Newcastle. For the Newcastle owners, if they get 120 million euro, that's what they do in an hour by oil and gas. So why should they sell? So this going to be interesting. I'm not 100% sure that this will go so much further, because I think the cards are in Newcastle hands. I can't see Alexander Isak go on a strike. I can't see him going out and say, I want to go to Liverpool. So it will be continued, but I at the moment, I can't see this happening.
Let's say it does happen, though, Stevie. How would that Liverpool 11 look to you?
Well, obviously, Isak would start up front. I think you'd have Gakpo on the left-hand side and Salah on the right with Wirtz underneath Isak. You know, it would be a 4-3-3, but I would expect McAllister and Gravenberch to be a lot deeper. And so Wirtz can operate pretty much in and around the middle of the park between the halfway line and the attacking box. So, I mean, going forward, that looks fantastic. It's got goals everywhere.
Any chance that wouldn't win the Premier League title next year, Shaka? That team?
Well, right now, given where everybody else is right now, that's the strongest team as anybody can put out. I'll be very honest with you. I mean, and while Stevie has Gakpo on the left and Wirtz playing through the middle, both of those can, if those two get an understanding with each other and are able to swap as freely as you've seen them do, Gakpo both for Liverpool last season and Wirtz for Leverkusen, because he just loves to float. If those two strike up an understanding, I'm with Stevie, that's as good an attacking threat as the Premier League has. And then you look, Van Dijk stays fit, Konate stays fit, yep. Alisson stays fit. It's hard to see anybody toppling that Liverpool.
I haven't even mentioned Kerikes. And you got Bradley, in my opinion, will start it right back just to make sure they start the season off solid. And then, of course, you can add Frimpong if you like. I mean, all systems are a go at Anfield right now.
Yeah, Jan's nodding along as well to what you're saying, Stevie and Shaka.
Yeah, and another point as well. If you have a look at the Liverpool squad at the moment, if you see the age of the players, I mean, they have slowly but steady getting a very young team as well in there. They have some of the greatest talent. Szoboszlai is now one of the oldest. He's 24. So this is a great Liverpool team. Just shows you how important recruitment is in football. But to make them favourite, I thought we just nominated Chelsea as the best club in the world. So Chelsea is going to be the favourite, wouldn't it?
Well, don't worry, Jan. We've got some Club World Cup talk coming up a little later on. Let me talk to you, though, Jan, about what you're hearing on how Ugo Ekitike could factor into all of this.
Yeah, what I do hear is that Ekitike is not for sale, but if we know the strategy of Eintracht Frankfurt, they sold Muani to PSG for 95 plus 5 million euro. They sold Marmoush to Manchester City for 80. His price tag now is 100 million euro. And there's been, he being the joker in that Newcastle Liverpool thing, if Liverpool can't get Ekitike, it can't get Isak, maybe they will go for Ekitike. What I do understand is that the player prefers to play for Liverpool. He prefers to play for Liverpool, but he's very relaxed because he knows that he can play Champions League with Eintracht Frankfurt. And Eintracht Frankfurt, for the first time in a long time, they don't have to sell because they have already done that with the Champions League qualification and the sale of Marmoush and Muani. So, but I can tell you that Ekitike prefers Liverpool Football Club. I always say when I moved on the pitch, it was like Jurassic Park. And when a guy like Ekitike, he's just floating. You didn't hear him. He's just there. Great. You see his goals. He's doing his assists as well, and he can play. He can keep the ball. He can go into the spaces behind the back fours or the back threes out there. So this is a great signing for them. And the last years, it's just unbelievable how many strikers, how many offensive players Eintracht Frankfurt have created, and Ekitike is just the last one. And we do remember they got Johnny Burkhardt from Mainz, so they kind of, not a replacement, but they got another strikers there, and they will probably go again if they were to sell Ekitike. See,
I think, Stevie, you'd be just as excited, speaking to you, if it was Ekitike and not Isak at Liverpool.
Yeah, I honestly wouldn't. I think Isak would be my first option, but only slightly behind Isak is Ekitike. I mean, you saw the goals we showed there. This guy can score every type of goal possible. He's not just a guy that scores goals in the penalty box. He scores goals from outside the box as well. He links play up. He sets people up. The guy can do everything. You know, he can score goals with his head. So, if Liverpool don't get Isak, and they've got to take Ekitike, then I for one wouldn't have a problem with it. It would be 30 million less than Isak. He's actually younger than Isak. He's only 24, I think, 23. I mean, again, you can't lose. Whichever way you go, whether it's Ekitike or whether it's Isak, Liverpool don't lose. They get a absolute world-class talent.
And of course, if that's to happen, then you can
can
sit
be
back
happy.
happily, Shaka.
Yeah, I'll be just as happy. But I got Steve's point. I mean, it's only a year between the two, Ekitike and Isak. The one thing Isak certainly has in bettering his resume from a Liverpool perspective is he's a proven talent in the Premier League. Yeah. Ekitike, while he's shown all the abilities too, that was in the Bundesliga. At least with Alexander Isak, you know it's a Premier League. Whichever way, I think how these two clubs play it, and we'll see Ekitike and Frankfurt and Newcastle if that's at all to happen. Ekitike is in a really good position right now. Yeah. I'd give him a left arm to be his agent this summer.
But Jan, let's look at it from the point of view of where you see that Florian Wirtz has come in, and if it were to be Ekitike as well coming in at Liverpool, would there be any concerns? It's always brought up with these players coming from the Bundesliga and being able to do what they've done there in the Premier League.
Ask Erling Haaland. He came from the Bundesliga. He did okay for Manchester City. I mean, there are examples, because it's a good question, and it's an important question, because I'm with the boys. Isak has proved it in England. I came back in for 100 years ago. I was struggling. There are foreigners struggling coming in there. You take time to adjust. The thing that I'm not worried about, say Ekitike will come to Liverpool. I mean, with the players you have around you, Florian Wirtz, Salah, Gakpo, Szoboszlai, McAllister. How could you go wrong? How can you avoid scoring 20 goals? I would have scored 20 goals now. I'm 58. I mean, these are the teams to easier to get into. And it's also, when you know the recruitment policy of, Liverpool Football Club, they know, and Slot knows what kind of roles he want to put them into. And the team that was shown there, if you take out Isak and you put in Ekitike, I mean, that is formidable. Yeah. That team, and it's and I think that it also depends on the player you play next to. I mean, if you play with Florian Wirtz, I mean, he will create anything. You will have Salah. He will always score your goals, but he will also make you passes. He will also make spaces for you. So I'm not worried about that at all. And with Arne Slot, you have a manager who finds the strategy, the tactic that is suited for his players.